Well, when you think about Vimy Ridge and the bombings in Egypt and the new bombings in Syria, this world is in one awful mess. This little part of the universe really is in for a shaking up. The universe, is growing bigger. Now the scientists feel that the universe has over 2 trillion galaxies. That's an immense number. 2 trillion. Each of them having between 50 and 100 billion stars. And you think that God made this. He put rules in place for the universe to abide by. Rules of physics and of chemistry and of biology. And if there's a deviation from those rules, bad things happen. That same God created us. And He put rules in place for us as well. And when we don't adhere to those rules, bad things happen. We don't know what happened the first time, what the rules were like, but we know once that God wiped out pretty well everyone on earth except for 8 people. The rules He gave to Moses were the rules that we were to follow for our good, and probably the rules that would be in the kingdom of heaven. But we are unable to do what the rules ask us to do. It says in Romans that no one is righteous. Not even one. So God changed his mind a bit. And He changed it so they don't have to, it's not what we do that counts, as much as what we believe and who we believe in. And therefore, it seemed that we are under what's called God's grace at the moment. So if it's what you believe, and this time of year, there are 2 questions that you should ask yourself. One is, do you really believe Jesus lived on earth and that He was crucified? Many people don't. Bertrand Russell, who was a philosopher and an author, said this in his book, Why I Am Not a Christian. He said, historically, it is quite doubtful whether Christ even existed at all. And if He did, we do not know anything about Him. That's really a very minority view, but it's held by many people. However, if you look at history outside of the Bible, because many people think the Bible is biased, obviously, and they don't take what the Bible says literally. But if you look outside the Bible, it is said that no serious scholar has ventured to postulate the non-historicity of Jesus. Jesus existed as a man. Historically proven. Historically documented. And it's also documented that He was crucified. Now, many people don't believe that He died on the cross. Muslims do not believe He died on the cross, although they attest to His virgin birth and to the fact that He was taken literally to heaven, that He was the Son of Mary, but they denied that He was crucified and died on the cross. However, it's very difficult to refute history.
Yes.
Cornelius Tacitus, a Roman historian who lived between 55 and 130 AD, stated, that Christus, or Christ, the founder of Christian faith, or the way as it was called then, was put to death by Pontius Pilate, procurator of Judea in the reign of Tiberius. This was written less than 100 years after Christ lived. Bert Ehrman, who was a professor of religion at University of North Carolina, and not a Christian, by the way, said there is definitely an historical Jesus, a Jewish teacher of the first century Palestine, who was crucified by the Roman prefect Pontius Pilate. Historically documented. So Jesus was a real person, and he was crucified. Was he resurrected? Because Paul said if he was not resurrected, if he was not risen from the dead, then your faith is in vain. And everything we do is useless. Josephus, the Roman historian, Jewish, who became a Roman historian, who lived at the time of Jesus, said that Jesus appeared to his followers following the crucifixion. His disciples, who were a motley crew to say the least, who ran away from the crucifixion, who cowered in the upper room, became dynamos of the faith after they saw him. Something changed them. It was the risen Christ. And we all know Paul, who had everything going for him as a Pharisee, top of the heap, commander of the group. He could do almost anything he wanted to and had everything he needed. Gave up everything because he had seen the risen Christ and spent much of his last days in jail and was beheaded for his faith. This time of the year, when you think that the God who made the universe thinks enough of us to come down and, as a human, sacrifice himself to take our death on himself. If we really believe that, if we really understood it, if we really accepted it, people should be spending every day in praise and prayer, and these churches should be filled to the rafters.
Yes. Amen.
But we sometimes give it just lip service. People will come to church on Easter and at Christmas as if that fulfills the only obligations they have to make to their conscience. As David Jeremiah puts it, some people are actually pillars of the church and work incessantly for God. Others are caterpillars who crawl in and out when they will and do nothing more than that. If you believe that God that created 2 trillion galaxies in a universe thinks enough of us to give up his life on the cross to save us from the law, which is still in effect. Just because we're under grace does not mean the law has been abolished. Paul himself said that. He said that in Acts, that he was still 100% behind the law. We're just saved from the results of the law, not from the law itself. So if we really believed what we talk about, then this Easter is a time we should think about making some changes in what we do and how we do it. Just something to think about.